Do you like trans kids?
I raised one.
You raised a trans kid?
I raised a child who decided to follow their true heart.
Okay, what about their other organs, like their genitals? That's they don't want to go by their true genitals?
This is my son.
That's your son?
Yep. No. This is my son. But also people who are autistic.
And you're probably autistic.
Sex workers.
We shouldn't let autistic people transition their sex because they're autistic. They're retarded. And a retarded person cannot pick their gender.
2025, and this man uses the R word? Did you invite this gentleman?
You have an autistic daughter.
Why did you say I was autistic?
Are you autistic?
No.
About that. It's a mental health issue. You don't solve it by cutting off your breasts. Look at your body shape. Your hips are like a woman. You're never going to be a guy.
My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself, why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them off, yeah, gotta break them off.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and we got a very special episode for you this evening. We have the one, the only Sheriff Lamb on to talk about all of the incredible work that he is doing to stop all the illegal immigrants from pouring into our border. But before we get to him, and we're about to get to him, we have to welcome on, guys, this is a real Crip. This is not a fake Crip. A lot of you guys in your rap music and stuff, they want to try to placate and they want to try to front like they are a bad boy. But tonight, we got a real OG gangbanger, the one, the only OG Kunta in studio. How you doing, OG Kunta?
How you doing, brother Alex? What's going on?
Thank you for being here. Now, you know, I purposely booked you with a law enforcement expert. So do we have the sheriff? Is the sheriff available?
He is ready.
Let's bring him on. Guys, the one, the only Sheriff Mark Lamb. He's a badass all the way. Sheriff, how are you doing? Welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein.
I'm doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me on. I told my son just a few minutes ago, he's like, what are you doing? I go, I'm getting ready to do Prime Time. He's like, with Alex Stein? Please tell him I love him. So, yeah, kids love you, man.
Well, I'll tell your son I love him in a no Diddy way, right, Kunta? What do they say? Pause, because I do love his son, but in a non-homosexual way.
No Diddy, no homo.
Thank you. Okay. Well, Sheriff,
I'll make sure he knows.
Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us. You know, you're just so busy. You are really, you know, you're a famous sheriff, right? I mean, and there's been a couple famous sheriffs from your area, but what is that like, real quick? How is it being a significant person and doing law enforcement? Because I think that's a unique position that you find yourself in.
You know, honestly, I found a balance with it. It can be difficult because everywhere you go, people know you. You pull people over for traffic stops. You have to give them, you know, you talk to them about speeding or whatever have you, camping in the left lane. And then they want to say, hey, you're Sheriff Lamb, aren't you? So that makes it a little bit difficult when you go to restaurants. You can't hardly eat with your family. I'm sure you feel the same thing with the notoriety you have. But I'll tell you what, I'll take that more than people coming up to me and saying, hey, you're a real son of a bee. I never really got that because the way we did law enforcement was respectful, and the people in the community liked it, and they appreciated that we stood up for their constitutional rights.
Well, and Sheriff, you know, law enforcement gets a bad reputation, and, you know, sure, of course, there are some bad cops, but I would say, and I think you would agree, the mass majority of cops are good people. Aren't they all good people, Sheriff Lamb?
Oh, look, they're the majority of them, the far majority, and even your OG can tell you right there, the majority of them are good dudes. There are a few bad apples, but we do a pretty good job of weeding them out ourselves. And but
objection.
you know,
he says objection.
Objection.
Well, real quick. I know, Kunta, I want you to interject, but because I had a loaded question. Let's play SOT number 2 because we talk about the fame, and I love this clip of you busting these human traffickers. SOT number 2, and the woman recognizes you, Sheriff, and this cracked me up. So let's play SOT number 2.
For all these people.
I'm not sure their names.
Hitchhiking, sure.
Oh, okay. So you went down to Tucson this morning, is that what you said?
Yeah. Are you Sheriff Lamb?
I am.
Oh my gosh, I totally recognize you.
How are you?
I'm just telling you.
Come on, man. This isn't the first time we've done this job. Why not just have them sit down?
No, the cardboard's to protect my car. I've been moving all my stuff.
What?
Yeah.
That's a $55,000 car.
I didn't say how much they paid, but it was more than 6,000. More than 6,000. ¿Cuánto salió? Como unos 10,000. I'm guessing maybe between 8,000 and 10,000.
We're not stupid. Okay. We know the game. This is what I do. I sit out. This is what
We'll see what happens. We'll turn them over to Border Patrol, and then they'll make their decision from here. There's all their camouflage clothes.
And they were under the cardboard, Sheriff?
What's he searching my car for?
He's going to tow it.
Why?
Because they're going to detain you for a federal crime. That's what I
For
said.
what?
You're smuggling humans, ma'am.
Wow.
Is there anything I can do to avoid this? I'm not.
Stop committing federal crimes.
don't traffic human beings.
It's a brand new
the
car.
best
It's a
line.
nice
Stop
car.
committing federal crimes.
So clearly she's been doing this because she's got her boxes that she claims it's because she's moved, but she's got air fresheners in here. She got about 3 or 4 of these air fresheners
You
in
need
here.
those.
She has a grip of perfume in the center console because typically when people come out after hiking several days, you don't always smell real great. And then we got all these cardboard here, which obviously is to keep her brand new car clean. Clearly.
But she recognized you, Sheriff Lamb. Why don't you just let her human traffic? Come on.
That's what they would hope. But no, sir. We got to hold them accountable. And look, this was a normal lady trafficking people because they're paying so much. They're paying like $1,000 per person. So she was willing to use her $55,000 car, lay the seats down, which, by the way, I was like, if you're just giving them a ride, why lay the seats down?
Exactly.
She had cardboard. They had camouflage clothes on. She had all these air fresheners. And then she tried to play dumb with us. But in the end, she got charged with a federal crime.
Wow, well, good work. I mean, OG Kunta, as a black man, though, aren't you happy that Sheriff Lamb is getting rid of these illegal immigrants? Because don't they affect the black community the most by taking all the social services and the jobs?
Well, let's get into that. Well,
Please.
personally, I'm not going to point the finger at, them. I think the economy.
Who's them, the illegal immigrants?
Yeah, I'm not going to point the finger at the illegal aliens because the Border Patrol failed.
Yeah.
They got to this brother's point. And I just say, man, good work, bro, that you did catch some people who were being smuggled. Because you're right, in a community, it is a problem.
Yeah, but talk about this real quick, though, OG Kunta, because we only have the sheriff for a short amount of time. You're a Crip gangbanger, right? And you would say the Crips are a pretty tough gang.
They are.
But which gang would you say is tougher? The Tren de Arruga from Venezuela, when they kill people, they cut out their tongue and they pull their tongue through their throat?
Well,
they don't do that in the Crips,
No, we don't do that. No, we ain't nothing like that. We simply just hang in the neighborhoods, drink.
Sell a little weed and drink some beer. I know. So, Sheriff Lamb, can you tell us the difference between a Crip, a gangbanger, and these Tren de Arrugas that you're busting constantly?
No,
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've dealt with Crips, gangs, Southside 18th Street. I was a gang and drug detective for a long time. The one thing about guys like OJ Kunta is there is a code that they live by, a respect code.
Right.
Even with law enforcement, there's a respect code. And they don't like the cops who don't respect that code that exists between law enforcement and the guys on the streets. We understood that code. Tren de Aragua has their code is they couldn't care less about human beings. You will never, it's not often. These kids are different nowadays. OJ Kunta will tell you. The gangster kids on the street nowadays are a lot different than the OG gangsters.
Yeah,
they're losing that whole
different
code, I think.
Yep.
But the Tren de Aragua, man, they have no respect for life. They will hurt women, kill women, children. And that's typically not what I see from gangsters. And they typically, like Bloods, Crips, they want to control a portion of their neighborhood, drug sales within that neighborhood, whatever it is that they're getting money or whatever it is from, they stick to that. Tren de Aragua, man, these people have no respect for America. And ultimately, whether you're a gangster, if you're an American, you still love this country. Yeah. Those people are not Americans. They don't love this country.
I'm still a patriot. I believe it.
And that is
100%.
That is what separates us from.
And I will die to defend this place.
Thank you. And he might die because he is a wild guy. I had to bust him already, Sheriff Lamb. They tried to smoke marijuana here in Texas. I almost had to kick him off the show out of here. I'm telling you, these guys don't deal with these OG Crips. Even though I like you, Kunta. What did you want to say? Did you want to say something?
Okay, I just wanted to say this, Sheriff. You tell me if I'm wrong. Don't you think things need to be updated if marijuana has been legalized in one state? Because if one state, ain't we all equal? Ain't this the United States?
But it's still a federal law, though. Yeah, what is your opinion on marijuana, Sheriff? What is your honest opinion on it? Because personally, I think marijuana is safer than alcohol, but I still think marijuana is bad. I still don't think marijuana
I don't think no one should be driving impaired.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to get the sheriff's opinion. What is your honest opinion that it's a Federal 1 scheduled drug? So obviously I would think that it's probably doesn't need to be that classification, but it's bad, right? What is your opinion, Sheriff?
Look, the levels of THC now, marijuana is bad for people. But the crime doesn't occur with marijuana. It occurs with meth and alcohol and all of those other drugs, those are the crime drugs. Marijuana is typically, we don't find people off their rocker from marijuana. But I will tell you, personally, I had somebody under the influence, and I agree with OG Kunta to this point. If it's legal, whatever. You smoke it in your house, but you can't drive on it, because I had somebody that was under the influence of alcohol and drugs, hit and killed my 22-year-old son, my 11-month-old granddaughter, and my daughter-in-law. So I will never be for marijuana. However, if you want to use it in the confines of your home, but there are a lot of states, to OG Kunta's point, there's a lot of states that have legalized it, and the federal government needs to evaluate this and probably look and see if it's more advantageous to legalize it to make it more equal across the country. But I am not for it. I lost my kids to it, but it is not a drug that induces criminal behavior for the most part.
That's a very, very good answer, to say the least, Sheriff. You know, that's why, you know, it's so ridiculous. And
I like this guy.
I'm telling you, this guy's he's awesome. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. The guy's a badass. But real quick, and I don't want to dog her out because I know you've been nice to her, and no disrespect to Carrie Lake, you're much more qualified to be a senator than Carrie Lake. I can't believe you lost to Carrie, and that's no disrespect to her, but I'm saying you're a guy that's actually on the streets, and Carrie Lake's a TV host like me. I mean, we don't really go out there and get in the nitty-gritty like you. So, Sheriff Lamb, please tell me, what is your other political aspirations? Don't let this be the end of it, I hope. What's next for you, Sheriff?
Well, Alex, I appreciate that. For those who don't know, I ran for the U.S. Senate, and Carrie was one of the people that talked me into doing it. 6 months later, she jumped in the race. But we ran an honorable race. I ran a race based on what I brought to the table. I never talked about my opponent. I ran an honorable race because I think that's how you should be. You should be a man that can stand on your own 2 feet. And unfortunately, the media didn't give me a lot of play. Carrie Lake ended up getting the endorsement from President Trump, which ultimately was probably the biggest thing that hurt us. And I've been a President Trump supporter from the time I was elected and from the time he started running. So, but we would have won that general election, Alex. We would have won it, but she beat me in the primary, and ultimately we lost that election because people saw that I had the experience, the independents, all the Republicans, and even a lot of Democrats said, look, I may not agree with this guy on everything, but he's level-headed, commonsensical, and he treats everybody with respect.
And you are a sheriff, so you do have political experience. So, I mean, it's not like you've just, you're some rookie amateur at this. I would say that probably a sheriff race is, I mean, it's just a very, your resume could not have been any stronger, and I'm really frustrated. No offense to Carrie Lake that wasn't the outcome. But, what can we do now? We just, we got to play the hand we're dealt. But you also are a celebrity because you were on a great show, Live PD. I loved Cops. Cops was the longest running TV show, and Live PD became the kind of second version of Cops. And is that where you kind of became famous, Sheriff Lamb?
A little bit. We started doing media, but then that's what really kicked it off. Live PD kicked it off. And then we did something called 60 Days In, which aired at the same time, where we actually put regular people in our jail with all the other folks. And that actually aired on Netflix during COVID, which is really, people know me now more for 60 Days In than they do for Live PD.
Well, wait, I didn't talk about me. Real quick, I have to cut you off. I was on this stupid cookie show. It wasn't stupid. It's called Worst Cooks in America. I actually had a good time for Food Network. And that happened 10 years ago, and then they recently put it on Netflix. I get more people bringing up that damn reality show. So being on Netflix, that's where you got the biggest pop. And 60 Days In was such a good show. So you were facilitating all of that. Like, that's even a bigger deal than Live PD. But before we get into that, I want to play this clip from Live PD, and then I want to ask you a couple more questions about it. So shot number 1.
That's not good. That's not good.
So I think he has methamphetamine, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing else on you? That's it?
Got some more in his sock.
Ooh.
A little more?
Yeah. Couldn't get rid of all of it, huh?
That's fine. I mean, look on my pocket, eh?
These guys have been dealing dope at the parks and stuff in our neighborhood. And we don't tolerate drug dealers in Pinal County. So heroin, meth, with the opioid addiction going on in America, we don't tolerate this. So these guys are going to go to jail today for trying to sell drugs in Pinal County. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Probably not so much for this guy. Here's the thing, man. This is my county. No drugs in my county. No selling drugs in my county.
That's what's up.
Did Pinal County give the inmates turkey and gravy at least that day, or what did he get to eat for dinner?
Well, they got their normal 2,800 calories, and we probably did do a Thanksgiving meal for our inmates. One thing, look, my son ended up in my jail. My son spent 6 months in my jail for hitting a guy on a bike while he was under the influence of something. And you want to know how you treat your inmates? Put your own son in your own jail. You'll find out real quick. And so I know that veers from the story a little bit, but look, regardless of holding people accountable, we still treat them with respect. There's some animals out there. OG Kunta knows those people deserve to never see the light of day again.
That's right.
But the majority of the people are lost in addiction or tough upbringings. And, you know, we try to treat them with respect. So they probably did get a Thanksgiving dinner that day.
Well, but OG Kunta, real quick, though, I just want to say, it just really sucks, though, the job that you have to do, you know, the fact that you have to arrest people. But how many times you personally, and Kunta, when you didn't ask the question, how many times were you like, man, I really, and does this happen a lot? I know you've been doing this a lot of times, where you didn't want to arrest a person, but you still had to? Because I see these videos where they arrest a fellow officer, and those get millions of views. Did we lose the sheriff? Oh, gosh. Oh, no, we got him. Maybe his camera went out. Oh, the sheriff, we'll have him right back on. No, we got his audio. But I was going to say, Sheriff, how many times you as a law enforcement guy, you bust a woman DWI, but she's got her family in the car? I mean, that has to be tough. You probably arrest a lot of people that you don't want to arrest. Is that the case?
Oh, absolutely. You get a lot of people where it just breaks your heart to have to put them in the cuffs and put them in your car. And look, I'll be honest with you. Some people, when they've been driving in without a license and they got kids in the car, I've let them go. Look, I'm more of a human than I am. I get that there's a balance to the law, but there are people that have break my heart. But on the way to the jail, like I always treat people, I said, look, don't let this define you. You made a mistake. You're going to have to clean this mess up. But you can get out of this and move forward. So, I mean, look, I've always tried to bring some humanity to it, but there are, man, Alex, you nailed it. There's some heartbreaking arrests you have to make where you leave kids in the house and it's just an awful situation. But unfortunately, that's why I don't have much sympathy when these people talk about sending the illegals back and their kids. Like, we arrest Americans all the time and leave their kids at home with, you know, where we have to separate families. Why should they get any different treatment than Americans get?
Well, that's a great question, and that's true. So many times you have to have CPS. These parents are making mistakes. But that's a good question that my good friend Tim Pool, we were just having a debate this weekend, and it comes to Abrego Garcia. Listen, Abrego Garcia, we probably didn't give him the constitutional rights. I think the Trump administration did say that they made a mistake. I think that's a one-off thing. But my point is, how much taxpayer responsibility do we have in an instance of Laken Riley getting murdered by an illegal immigrant? I think we should prosecute that. But what is the level, in your opinion, where we need to actually prosecute that criminal and keep him in our criminal justice system, or he's an illegal immigrant, we just need to deport him as fast as possible? Because there is a gray area of how much justice do we want to give him, or do we just want to kick his ass out of the country?
Well, look, I think with Kilmar, that was a solid, just removal. The guy had been ordered removed twice by the courts. He had had reports of beating his wife. He had had reports of trafficking. This was not a saint. There's no accident that they ran into him and picked him up. Due process, when you skip due process coming into the country, like, I get it. I'm all about due process. I don't know how much due process you're afforded when you're being removed. But there are going to be a lot of those people that are good people that are going to get mixed up with this, where they've been here for many years and they haven't caused any issues, but they're still here illegally. And I think, honestly, as heartbreaking as it is and as tough it is to make these calls, this is where good, strong leadership comes in. You still broke the law coming in this country. You know, guys like OG Kunta and myself live in a world where we understand the game. We understand there's rules. And if you break those rules, the consequences, you might be removed, you might go to jail. But to clarify it, the people that are in our jail, it's because they committed crimes here, whether it's domestic violence, driving under the influence, killing somebody under the influence, murder, assault, rape. Those are why they end up in our jail. And I think those people should face the consequences before they're removed from this country and sent back to their respective countries.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And we only have you for a few more minutes, so thank you for being with us this evening. But you don't know a little bit about my background. I'm actually a licensed bail bondsman. I grew up in a bail bond office. My dad is, one of the biggest insurance underwriters in Texas, or he used to be. Now he's a little retired. And he still works a little bit. I still have my license. But in the bail bond business, there's so many times where we cannot even get an illegal immigrant out of jail because we think that ICE is just going to deport him, and then we're still on the hook for that bond. So my question is, for you, when you look at these states like California and New York that are doing the bail reform, bail bondsmen have such a bad stigma surrounding their name, when in reality, bail bondsmen, whether you like it or not, are the people that are the third-party police to make sure that these people show up to their court case. And in places like California and New York where they don't have it, they're having criminals run rampant. Nobody's actually going and getting prosecuted for their crime. So what is your opinion on bail bondsmen? Because Google makes it where you can't even advertise as a bail bondsman. They consider a bail bondsman almost worse than a sex industry worker, because I think there are still sex industry ads on Google, but you cannot, we cannot advertise for bail bonds. So what is your opinion on bail bonds? And that's just a personal question, Sheriff.
Well, it's because these people don't want to be they don't want to hold people accountable. First of all, bail reform is stupid. Like, just so people understand, when you do bail reform, basically you leave the judge with two choices. Either he holds you or he releases you. And oftentimes what happens is you end up getting criminals released back to the street. So that's why we need bail. We also need bail bondsmen. There's not enough police to go around and find people that skip bail. And frankly, if you skip bail, it's not at the top of our priority list, nor do we even half the time know. So it's nice to have bail bonds. And one more thing about bail bondsmen, I've actually worked in conjunction with them, because we have the Fourth Amendment that applies to us, but bail bondsmen, under their agreement for somebody skipping bail, they can go into somebody's house and drag them out where we in law enforcement can't. So I'm all for bail bondsmen. As a matter of fact, I've thought about doing it now that I'm retired.
Sheriff, no, shut up. I'm going to get you licensed. I'll make you a millionaire next week, Sheriff. I'm going to call you after this. I'm dead serious. I'll get you with Baker's Insurance. I will get you $1 billion underwriting policy this week. I'm dead serious, Sheriff. I'm going to call you. My dad's going to be so happy. Oh, my gosh, we're going to have a good Christmas finally. I'm the one paying all the bills now. So thank God, Sheriff. We're about to make you a millionaire. Okay, before you go, Sheriff, OG Kunta, I feel like I cut you off a couple times. I had some questions I had to get out. So what did you get? What did you want to ask him? I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Sheriff, I really like, first of all, I want to commend you, brother. I can see the wisdom behind you. I really can. And I admire and respect you for that. I really don't like the cops. You know, I'm a gangbanger. You've been, you know our history. The cops and the gangbangers, we've been enemies for years.
Yeah.
But my wisdom, you know, and growing up as a, a youngster, you know, through my trial and errors of, making mistakes and, doing better and, improving, you know what I'm saying?
You have done some time.
Yeah.
How much time did you do?
I did 6 years.
6 years. And
after,
now he's good. Now you've been out of jail.
Yeah,
He's reformed.
I've been out of jail. I'm reformed. You know, after, reforming myself and, trying to be a pillar of the community rather than a detriment to it, I began to understand the necessity for police, you see. So I understand that the police are needed, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that, oh, we don't need the cops. We can't say that.
Yeah, defunding the cops. So that's kind of our last thing. We wrap it up. When you see all these protesters saying defund the cops, I mean, what would a society be without cops? Honestly, Sheriff Lamb, if we did defund.
Well, when you talk about defunding the cops, you know who's affected by that? Low-income communities. The rich people will always have the cops in their neighborhoods. Who's going to be affected are those low-income communities, and not just Black, Hispanic, white communities. Anywhere where there is low income, it's going to increase crime in those areas. And OG Kunta's right. Look, I told you I was a gang and drug detective, and it's the mice will never like the cat, and the cat will never like the mice. But what we have to try to do is kind of come together some days like Tom and Jerry used to. And I love OG Kunta that you've come back, and because I think there's a place for your voice and strong voices like yours for these youngsters out there in the community.
Appreciate that.
Who haven't quite gotten that wisdom that you've picked up over the years. But just to your point, Alex, and to your point, OG Kunta, cops are needed for as much as we don't like them. Look, I don't want to be pulled over by the cops either. And I was a cop. Right. But in the end, we need them because you'll have sheer lawlessness if you don't. And the lawlessness will be most affected in those low-income communities where you need it most.
I like to recall the situation, if you don't mind. In my community, there was a young man who was shot to death. And the cops were called. And the cops came, but since the cops couldn't arrest anyone, they left. And right after the cops left, the guy was shot and killed.
Wow.
So my question to you, because you're definitely a big influence in law enforcement. My thing would say, we definitely need more cops, but I think we need more education, with the cops as far as how to deal with, people.
You need young black people need education on how to deal with law enforcement?
No, the cops need education.
Well, I think what he's saying is the cops need more education. Look, we got a bunch of youngsters out here, much like the young gangsters nowadays, that don't know the code anymore. And they necessarily don't know how to go into a community and talk to people and be part of the community. Even though you're still the cat, you still got to be part of that community so that when they do need help, they're willing to call you and they know they're going to get quality service. And OG Kunta's not wrong. We've kind of lost that in our profession where a lot of these young guys don't want to dedicate themselves to their craft. They don't want to be the best that they can be. They don't oftentimes want to be part of the community. They're clocking in, they're hitting their 40 and they're going home. Where on the other hand, we truly wanted to reduce crime. We wanted to have an impact in the families that lived in our communities. And so I agree with OG Kunta, and that's why I go around, I speak all over the place. I try to impart some of what I've learned, try to bring that common sense, human approach, but still with a hard line on the law to that, because I think there's a way to balance that and you can be part of the community and have success.
Well, really, I just have to, as we wrap things up, nothing matters. I'm not even worried about my show right now because you're about to become the biggest bail bondsman in the state of Arizona. I can't believe it. No, seriously, we've only hired, my dad we only like to hire ex-law enforcement. I'm just saying, with your notoriety and you could literally become a millionaire overnight, and I'm not kidding, Sheriff Lamb. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I won't even make 10 cents from it. Honestly, my dad wouldn't make any money from it too. We just set you up with bankers. My dad would help you get in the business 100%. You could just owe us. So if you're really interested in that, I'm going to call you. And I'm not kidding, Sheriff Lamb. You would be an instant success in the bail bond business.
I'm in. Look, man, right here. This is the 5 paperwork I got to submit for my Lamb Investigations LLC that's going in for the private investigations company, and adding on the bail bonds piece would be great. So your guy has my cell phone number, Alex, and I think I might have given it to you when we saw each other tomorrow.
Yes, sir, I do.
I'm interested.
I'm going to have my dad reach out to you. Like I said, we don't need 5 cents. I just want him to connect you because I know that you're going to be a multi-millionaire bail bondsman, and then you're going to owe me later on when you're super rich. We don't need any money. I'm just telling you, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to get rich on the back end because when I get arrested in Arizona, he'll be able to call the Attorney General and get me out of jail. All right, no, I'm just kidding. I hope I don't get arrested. All right, Sheriff Lane, before you go.
Remember me, Sheriff.
Yeah, remember both of us. How can people find you and support you?
Yeah, great meeting you too, OG Kunta. And Alex, thank you for the time. You can catch me on Instagram, probably our most active American Sheriff. On Facebook, it's Sheriff Lamb. On Twitter, it's Sheriff Lamb 1. You can get me at sherifflamb.com. You can get bobbleheads, you can get challenge coins, you can get all that stuff because the man's got to eat still. So
you're about to be eating good. You're about to be eating steak and shrimp exclusively, okay? I can't believe this. Jimmy, call my dad. Wait, no, stop. Wait, real quick. I know you got to go. Now I'm going to call my dad. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe I didn't just call him immediately. Do not leave, Sheriff. Oh, my dad's going to be. And if you know what's funny?
I'm here for whatever time you need me, brother.
No, I know, but watch. My dad's going to be annoying. He's going to act like it's not a big deal, and then he's going to realize who you are. First, he's going to, watch. I can already tell. First, he's going to be like, what are you trying to set me up with some guy? Hold on. Watch. My dad's about to.
Hey, OJ Kunta, just kudos to you, man. I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean it. Voices like yours are impactful.
Dad,
we do a lot of stuff in jails, a lot of stuff in the youth, juvenile, all that.
Okay, Dad, I'm on the line. We have an incredible guest. We have Sheriff Mark Lamb. He ran for senator, didn't win, kind of got robbed in my opinion, but that's not important. The guy's got hundreds of thousands of followers. He's now retired. He's signing up right now to get his private eye so he can arrest people. And he has an interest in getting in the bail bond business, Dad. And he is a retired sheriff. I mean, my heart, I'm so excited.
What county?
Pinal County in Arizona.
In Arizona? Okay.
Yeah. So,
does he want to be a bounty hunter too and a bail bondsman?
Do you want to do both, bounty hunter and bail bonds? Yes, I would think so, right, Sheriff?
Yeah. Do it.
Dad, we got to get him with bankers. We got to get him a license. He said, this guy's going to be Dad, this guy's the top sheriff. He's like Sheriff Joe. He's the younger version of Sheriff Joe, basically.
You need to, I don't know with Arizona if he has to have any have to work for a bondsman for a year. We'd have to look.
Well, we'll look at all that. Okay, well, we're live on the show right now. I just want to say.
Any way we can.
Yes, we're going to help you, Sheriff. And tell the Sheriff, Dad, how lucrative it can be, considering he's a famous sheriff in Pinal County, how successful he'd be in the bail bond business.
Sheriff, I will tell you this. I've hired 30 former sheriffs in small Texas counties and used their name on the board after they left office, and every one of them had landslide business. Your name has a lot of value. Matter of fact, I tried to get Ralph Lamb in Las Vegas to do it. He's the only one that turned me down. But with your name on the board, that's going to draw instantaneous business.
As he says, this is relevant. All right, Dad, I'm going to give you his number, but we got to help the sheriff. I mean, we don't need to make 5 cents. This guy, Dad, will be, I'm telling you, a 10 out of 10 guy, wise, smart. He's the best guy we could ever have the opportunity to work with. So
now, on the bounty hunting deal, what he'd be smart to do is put a team of professional bounty hunters, a team of ex-law enforcement that were really qualified and credible, and these large major insurance companies would use.
Bankers would. Okay, Dad, I know. I will explain this to him after, but yes. Okay, I love you, Dad. I'm so happy you answered. Thank you. Okay, yeah, no, he's exactly right, though. These big insurance companies, when they have these big bonds, let's say, oftentimes, this is another thing, is I have these abortion debates all the time, and people say it's not a life, but you know this, that if you're a drunk driver and you hit a pregnant person and you kill the pregnant person and the baby, it's a double murder. You know, so obviously, according to the law, they consider that a life. Go figure, but these abortionists don't. But my point is, you get those big bonds where somebody hits a bus, and it can be $1 million bond, and the insurance companies, they'll hire multiple bounty hunters to go find this. So you can make money just working for the insurance companies as a licensed bail bondsman or bail recovery agent. So Sheriff Lamb, I'm excited you're retired. I'm excited to help you out because I know you're going to be incredibly successful. So Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us, and I will be texting you right after the show.
All
Thank
right,
you, Alex.
Sheriff,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm serious about this.
And I'm as serious as a heart attack.
Great meeting you, brother.
Great meeting you too, my guy.
Be safe.
Wow, thank you, Sheriff. I'm so excited. My dad at first, he's kind of like, what? We always hire ex-sheriffs. And my dad's always like, gosh, we need to find another ex-sheriff. He's like, Alex, because I tell him law enforcement hits me up all the time. He's like, well, we should get some more law enforcement to get in the bail bond business. This guy would be awesome in the bail bond business.
That's what's up.
You've used a bail bondsman. You get your ass out of jail.
Yeah, I definitely use bills.
What the hell happened there? Oh, damn, my damn flag fell down. So, OG Kunta, okay, so you're a Crip. For the people playing at home that might not know that, can you tell us what is the difference between the Crips and the Bloods and East Coast versus West Coast?
Okay, well, the difference...
Oh, yeah, crap. Okay, actually, before we get into that. Guys, are you a homeowner? You need to listen to this. When's the last time you checked on your home title? That's the legal proof that you actually own your house. And if you're like me, the answer is never. You think I'm checking that? Guys, come on, I'm busy. And that's the problem in today's world. AI and the cyber world are making it so much easier for scammers to steal your home titles, and your equity is the target that they want. Here's how it works, guys. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property underneath your nose. You won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. And this does happen, guys. And that's why you need to stop what you're doing and find out today if you're already a victim. That's right, you might already be a victim. Use the promo code ALEX at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com right now and use promo code ALEX. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code ALEX. And HomeTitleLock.com. Make sure to use that promo code ALEX or else they will not know that I sent you. So, OG Kunta, I wanted to get back into you. Sorry, we got to pay the bills on this show. What is when I think of gang banging, I think of OG, Crips, I think of Bloods, I think of Snoop Dogg, I think of, so West Coast, East Coast. Can you describe, you're a Texas Crip, what is Crips versus Blood? What is it for real? Not the television version.
Right. First of all, the historicity of the Crips and the Bloods was to protect the community against crooked police who came purposely into the community to, harass, target and unfairly, treat black people. The Watts riots, happened in the 60s, right?
Los Angeles, those are huge. So that was kind of the origin of the gangs?
That was
the Watts
kind of where Raymond Washington, because see, I'm I'm from Texas, but the Crips started in California.
Okay,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? They originated in California.
West Coast, that's what they all think.
Right, everything.
Snoop Dogg's a Crip, one of the most famous Crips.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, from people like Texas, we look up to Cali, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the homeland.
And that was kind of the premier state. Now, not so much, but still, California has always been looked at as the LA, Hollywood. I mean, that is the kind of, state that embodied the American dream the most, I think you could argue.
So this kind of what happened. The Crips were, in the community. See, Crips stands for Community Revolution in Progress.
Wow, I didn't know that. CRIP stands for Community Revolution in Progress.
Right. And it was designed to,
you can take your earpiece out if it's uncomfortable, because now the sheriff's gone. Yeah. You just let it hang. You're good.
Yeah, it was an organization that was put together by some elders, forefathers of mine, they were resisting, like the Black Panthers. You remember the Black Panthers?
Of course, yes, during the Civil
Black
Rights
Panthers, they were defending the community against injustice. So was the Crips and the Bloods. But as the drugs came into the community, everybody's ideals got, kind of, swayed. So it went from protecting the community to becoming a menace within the community.
Why do you think that was? Do you think that was done on purpose through hip-hop music to kind of try to create a lifestyle of degeneracy?
Right. I call it subliminal seduction.
That's a good word, subliminal seduction. I like that.
And, you got music, you got video games, you got movies, and they all promoted, gangsters, the Al Capone era, you know what I'm saying? All of these eras where people were using guns and going into places were public and shooting.
Well, and that's what I watch these clips where they talk about other rappers like Method Man and stuff that were friends with Puff Daddy and Tupac and Biggie, all during all that. And they said that they really weren't mad at each other at all. That was all the media, created all. It was all hype. They really didn't care. Maybe there was some beef between Biggie and Tupac, but everybody else, it wasn't like they said on MTV.
Well, I think the beef really started after Tupac got shot in the elevator.
The first time when he got shot 5 times, and I'm still breathing, living proof there's a God if you need a reason, Tupac. But so when he got shot in New York City and he blamed it on Biggie, that was what started the violence between the East Coast, West Coast?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's always been tension from the rap because, East Coast is kind of gangster. And, West Coast is kind of gangster and East Coast is more conscious.
Yeah, I see what
you got, a music that's designed to instill, violence, and then you got music that's designed to instill consciousness.
I'm kind of make you think a little bit. No, I do agree.
Make you think.
And Biggie Smalls was, the best lyricist. He was so good, and he represented the East Coast. So, now the Crips and Bloods, though, you talked about it. These young people, they don't live by a code anymore. These youngsters just shoot each other for peanuts.
Right, and it's bad. It's really done got to an epidemic level in our community where the youngsters now, they are overarmed and uneducated. We all know the Constitution. It's everybody's right to bear firearms.
I agree. Even if you're a gangbanger, even if you're a Crip, I think you should be able to have a gun.
Right, exactly. But what we are being miseducated on is that the use of a gun is not to solve a problem.
Yeah.
That's where the broken the breakdown in understanding is that we were taught that when it's a problem, it's best to grab a gun, and that's where a lot of the culture is now, with the youngsters. When they get mad, instead of them, having a meeting, sitting down like we did, and talked our problems out. Now, a lot of times, what we did, we kind of set that tone for the violence. That's kind of what
your level did by shooting people, doing the drive-bys and
by engaging in all that, and then plus the subliminal seduction of everything that they were seeing. I think that all kind of settled them in an unruly way to where now the young guys, they don't want to listen to nobody. They don't care. They don't care about life. It's like that sheriff was saying. There's so many people out here who are really bad, and It's the youngsters that are really bad, and it's not really their fault because they were taught wrong. You know, the older guys, they got jobs.
And they don't have the guidance, you know,
Right.
they don't have the mentorship.
The big homies, the gangsters, they stopped gang banging and got jobs or got businesses.
Got kids or
got kids and families, so they had to pull away from the streets. So then you got all these youngsters out here still trying to live up to the reputation or the lifestyle that they heard about this guy who just done settled his life down and ain't the same kind of guy no more. So that broke down the communication. So now you got brothers who really done went the wrong way, and then there's nobody to tell them, hey, don't go that way. That's, you know, you going down a tunnel that there's no light at the end.
No, and you're exactly right. I mean, it's really just kind of a very dim future, not a bright future. And, you know, I think our society, we just love to fight so much. And I want to do something about, I want to go back to the Crips, but I want to get your opinion. Can we play SOT number 11? George, the Pirates fan, look at this. Now, this is, I kind of worry about, I feel like they try to pit white people versus black people, Chinese versus black people, Mexicans versus black people. They want us fighting each other so that we don't actually try to solve the problems that are plaguing, you know, humanity. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. We're all still affected by gas prices and food prices.
Right.
So they don't want us to actually try to solve those problems. They want us to fight each other. And then I see this clip, and it kind of makes me think. So watch, this is at a Phillies game, so that's the security guard. So he punches him. Now, usually I don't see that. I mean, that's pretty wild for a security guard. Then the guy spits on him, which is totally wrong. And then look at this. He grabs his belt. Have you ever done anything like that? You ever smacked a guy?
Yeah, well, I've definitely been in my fair share of brawls, I'll tell you that. I am a fighter, and I'm a prime supporter of guns down, gloves up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
do you have a boxing background at all?
I do have a boxing background. I trained, in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
We have a boys club called Panthers Boys Club.
So you've been boxing as a youth, so you really do like to fight. Because I just had my first boxing match. I won against Mike Harrington. He was great. But I'm saying people don't realize that boxing will actually train you and teach you how to fight. A lot of people think they can fight. Till you go spar somebody, then you can really fight. So you've been in a lot of fights. Can you tell us, though, a little bit about, what's the most, sometimes you ever mess somebody up real bad?
Okay. Well, I'll say this. One of my most dangerous fights was against a big old giant guy. And he was
White guy, black guy? Why do you say
white guy?
Yeah, big white guy.
Big old giant white guy. He's probably like 6'6", 6'7", about 280. Big old monster. He could throw a basketball like a baseball.
Okay, I know. So he's huge. I mean, big ass hands, 6'8".
You know the story of David slaying Goliath. You know, it definitely happened. So this guy, he tried me. You know, everybody was afraid of him because because we was, this happened in prison.
Yeah.
We were supposed to been playing basketball. You know, prison is segregated. You know, the whites, they own the volleyball, the Mexicans own the handball, and the blacks on the basketball court.
Okay.
Okay. You know, no disrespect, not saying the white man can't jump. You know
but most of them can't. But I'm just saying, they're saying, and they get the volleyball. That's kind of a gay sport. They give it to the guys. Not saying white guys are gay, but
yeah, but you got white guys that ain't going, and they coming to the basketball court. And then, you got black guys that be like, well, you don't belong over here. You know what I'm saying?
But they won't even let
this
him.
guy was so big, nobody
was
not going to say, hey, you don't belong over here, because he's sitting about 6'6", with all these. This guy was beefed, he was big, and everybody over there, and he got the ball. He's just sitting there. Everybody's supposed to have been playing basketball, but he got the ball, throwing it up against the wall like it's a baseball, like he's Nolan Ryan's son or something.
So how'd you knock his ass out? This guy sounds like he's damn Goliath, like you said.
Okay, now, so I come outside, I come onto the court, and normally, everybody's running up and back and down the court playing basketball full court.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, everybody's just standing around watching him throw the ball like he's playing handball on the wall. So I come out there, and I'm like, I got a friend, and I asked him, I'm like, why y'all not playing basketball? And he said, well, he's got the ball. So I go over there to him. I'm like, hey, man, you know, we want to play basketball, right? And he looks at me and he says, well, I say, well, man, you got the ball. He say, I said, well, you know, can we get the ball, bro? And he was like, man, if you could take it.
No, wow, he challenged you.
Yeah. So I say, man, really, I don't give a damn about the ball. But if you think you just gonna come over here to the rec yard and punk the blacks, you got another thing coming.
Yep.
So what you want to do? So by that time, he takes the basketball and throws it at my head, and damn, that knocks my head off. I'm talking about ball going damn near about 90 miles an hour. I got a duck.
Nolan Ryan style.
Yeah, he Nolan Ryan, 3,000 striker. I got a duck and hide from the ball, but by that time, I'm mad, you know, because he really almost took my damn head off with that basketball. Yeah. So we run to the square to meet up, and he chunks his purses up. I chunk my purses up, but I'm very quick. So he swings one of them, you know, trying to knock my damn head off punches, and I slid up under him, and I hit him one time. Pow! I hit him so hard, he fell on the ground.
You knocked his ass right out.
Cut him. He was cut. It was like, you remember when Rocky was fighting the Russian, and he finally cut him? He was shocked. He never been in that trauma, so after that, it was easy work.
Damn, thank God I didn't try to tackle him like I did freaking Unk 607 or whatever. He would have kicked my ass. Okay, so you're a tough son of a bitch, and you know, but you have to realize that this day and age, fighting doesn't get us anywhere. You know, I know in a prison yard it's a little different. There's different rules, but man, and I've been in some fights too. I'm not acting like I'm, you know, a Boy Scout, but you know, we're just fighting too much. Those Pirates fans, guys, let's not punch each other at the damn baseball game. Okay, now I want to get your opinion on, let's say SOT number 9. Is this the conspiracy one? Because I want to get into some conspiracies, and then we got to do some Crip stuff. So I want to get your take. Look at this monitor. Let's watch this about our timeline.
What I'm saying is I don't believe the history we've been taught. Here's a good example. Have you ever heard about Lewis and Clark going across the Mississippi? In 1803, there was nothing there supposedly back in those days. Okay, so now think about that. So we're talking about like 200 years ago. There was nothing west of the Mississippi as far as the America was concerned. Now talk about when these cities were founded and became cities like we know today. And explain to me how that makes even a lick of sense. Like, so how did Chicago go from like literally like a tent city in 1840 to Chicago like we know it by 1860? You think about all the central planning that would have took. Then you go like to places like San Francisco. San Francisco like had 1,000 people in like 1840. And then there's a panoramic shot very famously that shows the whole city in 1873. And it's a full-grown city. There ain't one bit of construction happening right there, but the whole city is fully grown. San Francisco was supposedly discovered in 1776. So this is around the time what it would have got its name. Well, here's the interesting thing. There's old maps that are 200 years older than that actually either have S. Francisco on it in that same area, or they straight up say San Francisco. Where Chicago is at, there's old maps from like the 1500s that say Shalaga.
Wow, maps from the 1500s. So what do you think they're hiding? What is our, you know, what's the real history of our society?
Well, we already know that there's so many conspiracies. When it comes to maps, we know that we live in the United States is not the only landmass. We got an ice wall. We got Antarctica.
So you're flat Earth. You're flat Earth all the way, or what?
Yeah, I'm a flat earther.
You are, yeah. But you just Jaron Campanella, though, one of the biggest flat earthers, he saw the 24-hour sun. So now they're saying he's saying it's a non-rotating ball. That's what they're saying sometimes.
Well, honestly, I don't know. I don't think they are being honest, because they said that the moon landing was faked.
Moon landing was fake. You think they really did do that?
No, they didn't. I know they didn't.
That's fake.
Again, if
Earth could be round, is what I'm saying.
Okay, if the Earth is round, then why is it that when you go on a plane that it doesn't reflect you?
You are 100% right. It doesn't make sense that when you fly from New York to Los Angeles with the Earth rotating underneath you, that it's longer than when you fly. When you fly against a rotation, it should be shorter, but it's the opposite. It's longer. So that is weird that you're going the opposite angle of the Earth's spin. So you think that you would fly there faster, but you don't. And there are some weird stuff with planes that when they, do the map, you know, it always looks like it's a big circle, but then when you put it on like a, what they call an AE map, it looks like a straight line. So there's some weird stuff. But I'll tell you this much. I don't necessarily think the Earth is flat. I do think, though, they're lying about the Earth, though. I think they're lying about.
I think it's water on top of the Earth. I think this is like, I think what keeps space and
I think the firmament?
I think the firmament, beyond the firmaments, is water.
That's what they say.
Because.
So you think Elon Musk is full of shit?
I don't know. I got a conspiracy theory on Elon Musk. I don't know. He's trying to go to Mars, but how?
Yeah, Mars is. What the fuck are we gonna do in Mars anyway? I mean,
well, they said it was a supercomputer in Mars.
Yeah, I mean.
What is that? A super artificial intelligence computer, and everyone wants their hands on it.
And that's in Mars right now?
That's in Mars. And that's why Elon Musk supposedly wanted to get there.
He wants to get a computer in Mars. That sounds
well, you know, he's dealing already with artificial intelligence.
Well, that is true. That's what they say is, and then all future space exploration will be done by artificial intelligence robots, because a robot can obviously, you know, withstand the element of space much easier than a human being. So I do believe that they will send robots here pretty soon. Okay, we only have a few more minutes. It's been a great episode. We've learned a lot, but I want to learn something really important. We talked about the Crip culture, and this is a culture that was in the 90s. The Crips and Blood culture, guys, was the cool culture. White kids, everybody wanted to have a bandana. Everybody wanted to be a part of the Snoop Dogg culture, the Ice Cube. Everybody was doing the Crip walk. I'm a horrible dancer, so I want to play some music. Can you teach me, Kunta, how to Crip walk?
Well, honestly, I could teach you, but it's kind of hard, you know, because, you know, remember that, you know, it's I don't know.
It's not that hard. Play some music. What do you mean it's hard? Okay, hold on. Get the handheld. Okay, so it's like, how do I do it? How do I do it? Okay, wait.
Look,
Come on. Oh, yeah, you're tied in here. We got to put this in your thing. Put this in your packs. Just put this in your, put that in there, and then put this back here.
Yeah.
This in the back pocket. All right.
Okay, now.
Right. Okay. Got to back up because I know it's about the feet, though.
It's about the feet. That's the start of it right there. That's the start. Look, it fell again.
Yeah, let's get that. Just put that in here. Let's put that right here. Right there. It shouldn't fall. I got to learn how to do this so when I'm at a wedding, I can do it.
Okay, go.
Go. Oh, wait.
Ready?
Ready? Guys, I can't do it. Bump. Wait. Bump. 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 Look at this. Now we're cripping.
And this is the Texas Crip walk.
Texas Crip.
I showed it to you.
Damn. Oh. See? Damn, your feet are on fire. That's how we Crip walk. See, on this show, Drewski, we Crip walking. Wait. But this is the wrong one. Blood, right? Wait.
No, we can't do that. Hold on. Time out.
Oh, my God.
Time out.
Don't kill me. Don't kill me.
No. Time out. Ain't no blood shit.
All right, no blood shit.
No blood shit. This Crip game right here.
We're trying to bring the Crips and Bloods back together. All right.
Yeah, we can bring the Crips and Bloods together, but it's Crips in the building right now. Ain't no Bloods.
We're all Crips. We're Crips here, Jimmy. We're Crips. Give it up for the Crips.
We're Crips.
We are Crips.
Crip gang.
We are
you know what it is.
Okay. Now, my very good friend, a guy that you've been a little critical of, and we don't want to get too much on him because I was telling you, you know, I only say nice things about Charleston White, but he's going viral for this clip. Let's play shot number 10, then I want to get your opinion on what he said.
Okay.
No, close.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God! A Birkin! I got the bag. Birkin!
That's a $40,000 bag, supposedly. And that's a transgender that he gave the bag to.
Oh, man.
That's a 300-pound transgender.
Oh my God.
Well.
Wait, look at Charles' head.
Are you crying?
What is he doing? Is he trying to be a humanitarian?
I don't. Well, I think Aiden is, but look, watch what Charleston does. What did he say? I wish that hoe had a what? I didn't even hear what he said. Well, it doesn't even matter. What do you think about big fat transgenders?
I really don't support that idea at all. I think whatever God made you as is that's what you're supposed to stay. You know, transgenders can't have kids. So that ideal is not supported by God. So to each his own.
To each his own. I'll give you that. If you're an adult, we're in a free country.
Yeah, you do. But
some of this stuff is a little too
it's
far.
that's why I'm a Trump supporter.
And that's a good point. That's a good transition. My producer just in my ear, real quick. Now, I'm very good friends with Laura Trump, and I'm friends with the Trump administration. They've been so good to me. We love the Trump family. But I think, I just had an idea, a crazy idea, that we need a gangbanger Crip coalition for Trump. If we created a Crips for Trump movement, I'm not even kidding, because they got blacks for Trump or whatever, you know, they got all these Mexicans for Trump. But imagine Crips for Trump, how big that would be. And I believe Donald Trump would invite Crips to the White House. Would that be something that you and the Crips would be interested in doing?
No doubt we would, because I'm pretty sure every Crip that hear me and see me saying it right now, we tired of going to jail. We want to change the whole perspective of Cripping, because we want to serve the community now. We don't want to tear it up no more. We want to serve the community. So, of course, we support Trump, because Trump is trying to make America a better place. You know, they say making America great again. I don't really agree with the great again, because I've been living in the slums, and it's never been great in the slums.
Oh, you're right.
So when they say make America great again, I get that for people who got a lot of money and done lost a lot of money. That's why they say that, because America, the economy has failed.
No, he needs to make America great for the first time, because there are a lot of people.
There we go.
It hasn't been a great country.
It hasn't been a great country, and I support him. The guy has done everything he said. He has done something amazing for freedom of speech. I challenge every black person to go look into the law and see
what Kanye
Trump
West
has done
Kanye West
for freedom of speech. He just did an executive order on first and last month rent. Did you see that?
Yeah, trying to help people out.
Helping people out where you don't have to pay your rent anymore, where the landlords were getting over on the tenants, because, you know, a lot of our money is going into our utilities.
Yeah, of course.
These high utility bills, these first and last month's rent, people are doing bad out here in America. So, you know, my message to Trump, you know, just as a person that's from the bottom, hey, don't forget about the guys at the bottom, Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the movie stars and the rappers have, you know what I'm saying? They got their money and they live up there, and they look down and they come down and they do these little philanthropy moves, but they ain't really taking care of the community, because the community is suffering. It's a place where a lot of drugs is being sold. Fentanyl is being sold into the community. It's killing people. A lot of people are being found overdosed on fentanyl. So we need help in the community. We don't just need Band-Aids. We need real help. And real help comes from people like Trump, who wants to bring real opportunity and real money within the community.
You're exactly right.
And drive out all the illegals.
Yes, sorry, illegals, you got to go, because you're hurting the black women and children that are suffering, that need some of those social services. So, okay, before we go, guys, I want to take a moment to talk about where we are right now, because let's be honest, conservatives, we're winning. And the movement is actually gaining ground, which is a great thing, and people are waking up. And the narrative is cracking, and the momentum is finally shifting, but the fight is not over, guys. It's not even close. And that's why Blaze TV exists, because in a world full of noise, we need a strong hold for bold voices, free thinkers, and fearless commentary that helps make sense of all the chaos. At Blaze TV, we've built a home for some of the strongest, smartest voices in conservative media. People who tell it like it is, ask the tough questions the mainstream are afraid to touch, and aren't afraid to challenge the narrative. When you subscribe to Blaze TV, you're not just watching content, you're supporting a movement, guys. You're backing creators who think for themselves, speak boldly, and refuse to be silenced by big tech or the corporate media. You're supporting investigative journalism that exposes corruption, and original documentaries that shine a light on the deep state. It's everything the networks won't show you, delivered on your terms, on any device, anytime. And right now, you can try Blaze TV for just 99 cents for your first 30 days when you use the promo code PRIMETIME99 at checkout. That's an entire month of uncensored insanity for less than $1. So if you're ready to keep winning, shop your values and make sure we don't lose the ground we've gained. Go to blazetv.com/Alex and subscribe today. That's blazetv.com/Alex. Promo code PRIMETIME99 and try Blaze TV for only 99 cents. Blaze TV, unfiltered, unafraid, on demand. Okay, OG Kunta, before we go, Jimmy, what did you want to say? You said something in my ear?
Quick thoughts, his reaction to Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, yes, we need to do that, Carmelo Anthony. And then Andrew Wilson said he can come on the show tomorrow, but we're going to have to buy him a flight and a hotel, which I'm fine doing. What's your number? I'm my producer call you. Okay, so what is your thing on Austin Metcalf and that, you know, Austin Metcalf got stabbed by Carmelo Anthony? What is your opinion on that?
I don't like to see people die, period.
Yeah.
So let's you know, first of all, there was a failure in the school, and I'm an inventor, and bullying is a problem.
Yep.
And they have not invented anything. You know, we have all this technology, but we have not made sense of the schoolhouse and how we can basically give people, parents, their peace of mind and give teachers their right to teach back. But I have an idea that will change the dynamics of school, but let's get back into the topic. The young man, he committed a crime. The young man he brought a knife to school. That was his first crime. And then he used it in a dangerous way on someone. That was another crime, and that man lost his life. So he committed crimes. But security failed because the young man was never supposed to got into the school doors with that weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. Teachers failed because they never seen this young man who was the bully, who was the selling it initially. Because from what I understand, the young man he was the aggressor, and the Carmelo pulled the knife out and killed him, stabbed him. I think the blame is on everybody's hands. We're failing as parents to teach our children to deal with their problems in a less violent way, especially with weapons. We don't need weapons at school at all. A child is never supposed to been able to bring a weapon to school.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that the little guy, he died.
The white guy's dead. We hate that. And now they're acting like he's a hero, though. I mean, so...
now, he's not a hero, but he may be. Because from what I understand, the guy, what is his name?
Austin Metcalf?
He was making posts of wanting to be a Columbine type of dude, going to the school and
is that true,
shooting up
Jimmy?
people.
I don't believe that.
Is that true? I mean, I'm just saying he was making posts online.
Who, the killer or the boy that got killed?
The boy who got killed was posting online.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Those are Photoshopped.
Those are Photoshopped.
Is that true?
That was fake.
That was fake.
All right, but listen, we love white kids. We love black kids. We want less kids stabbed. I think that we can all agree on that. So, OG Kunta, thank you for coming on. We're going to have you back. You're out here in Fort Worth, and you're a Crip. We need you. We need your expertise. So before you go, tell the people, how can they find you and support you?
You can find me on Official Baby Hood. That's one of my websites on YouTube. You can also look at me on Unique Perspective. If you ain't shot by Drewski, you Drewski, that's my guy, Drewski. You know what I'm saying?
Drewski's the man. We love Drewski.
He's my guy, you know what I'm saying? He made this possible. Or you can look at me on Facebook, OG Kunta Cuz. You know, please like and subscribe. Please support my guy. Please support OG Kunta. You know, I'm trying to make moves, trying to do big things, man, make a change.
That's what we got to do. All right, guys, we end the show the same way every time with that freestyle finale. So, DJ, hit that beat, yo. Let's go. I'm in the club, and I'm always showing love. Got the Crip on my couch, make it say ouch. Hit you in the face if you hide the basketball. You know what I'm gonna do. Gonna make that call to Donald Trump. Gonna get a Crip in the White House. Then he's going to sleep with a spouse. OG.
With my spouse. Hit him in the mouth. You know, Kunta, I never been a mouse. Fake dudes, they really wear a blouse. Go ahead and call your spouse. I'm the kid that'll punch you down. Come through your city and maybe your town and rep my hood. It's Hoover good. You know we grooving, you know how we moving. Fake niggas losing, multiple contusions. Pump you upside your head, you know you, man.
Yo, that's how we do it. Hit the line, then I say screw it. I'm the pimp, on the blimp, and I'm always eating shrimp. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'm always going live. Peace, bitches.
Y'all know it.
bottom of